Alright. Whew! That was unexpected. Wow!
Hello YouTube, my name is Rhino Dan, and I am making a video on how electric motorcycles is going to save the industry. Right now, the younger generations are not buying motorcycles as often. It's usually the older guys are buying motorcycles. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'm going to go over that in this video. Contra Costa Powersports was awesome enough to let me test drive 2 of their electric motorcycles, valuing about $30,000 or more. I was very respectful in this video. I didn't do anything crazy. So if you see any normal riding and you're disappointed, I'm sorry, but they were not my motorcycles. They were 2017 bikes. Having said that though, they were awesome enough to let me test drive 2 motorcycles. Right there, you got to see how quiet they are. Here's a picture of Guy Martin. So Guy was at the Isle of Man doing the TT. He was going 140 miles per hour. He had a downshift on his motorcycle and he found neutral instead. Him finding neutral caused him to wreck at 120 miles per hour. He's lucky to be alive. He had a slight damage to his arm, but other than that, he was fine. On an electric motorcycle, that would never happen. On an electric motorcycle, there's no gears to go through. There's no transmission, no mechanical failures of that type. You don't have to worry about finding neutral or the bike not shifting or any of those things that cause any type of accidents. I believe that this right here, these electric motorcycles will save the industry because a lot of new riders that want to become riders are scared of shifting. And motorcycles in themselves are scary enough. There's 2 wheels instead of 4. There's no cage around you, and we all know that motorcycles are more dangerous than being in a car. It's been proven. That's just an undisputed fact. And if you add shifting to it with clutch and everything else, it just makes new riders more scared to be on a bike. Now, think of it like this. A lot of younger riders never driven before on a manual transmission. Most of them, because 90% of the cars on the road today are all automatic, probably even higher than that. So if you're a younger rider and you want to be a younger rider or you're a younger driver, odds are your experience has been with an automatic car. Automatic cars shift for you, they think for you on what gear to be in, and right there eliminates some of the problems of driving, and in this case riding a motorcycle. Being too high on a motorcycle causes its own problem because then you don't have enough power to the ground, and that can cause the motorcycle not to have enough power to push you through the turn, because we all know you steer with the rear on motorcycles. Being too low in a gear causes another problem because you start redlining too much and you have to shift again. All these things can cause riding error. So we can agree that being in the wrong gears on motorcycles is not good. Then leads us to the next problem, hills. So you got to stop sign at a hill and you have to make a go on a motorcycle. It's very complex. You have to have the clutch in, the brake in, you have to have your foot down, be in the proper gear, you have to fan the throttle, letting the clutch out at the same time to go up this hill and bringing your leg up. It's very complex. On an electric bike, not so much, very easy to do. Having said that, I think that's what's going to really help the young riders that want to ride, because now they don't have to worry about shifting or being in the right gear or any of that stuff, and eliminates some of the errors that come with shifting. Now, every rider and every guy that's driven a manual car has had some shifting error from time to time. Sometimes you get away with it and sometimes it causes accidents. But regardless of that, it can be pretty intimidating for new riders to go out and to overcome shifting, especially with motorcycles on the downshift. The downshift is one of the hardest, complicated actions you'll do on a motorcycle. You have to have the clutch in, you have to blip the throttle, which means you have to get the engine to match the road speed. Then you have to downshift, let the clutch out, and hopefully the engine speed matches your shift. Rev matching is very complicated. Some of the high-end bikes help you overcome this with technology, computers and other things, but still it's not all bikes have it. Most Harleys don't. I don't think any Harleys do, but Harleys don't. A lot of bikes don't have this technology, So you have to go out and learn how to blip a throttle and be in the right gear. And that's very complicated. So here I am driving in town, and I want to show you that I don't have to worry about shifting. And I did this on purpose because in this video right here, I did the motorcycle in two different ways. I did it on the freeway and I did it in town. And I wanted to show you guys like how smooth it was to ride a motorcycle in town and stop and go traffic, because some states don't allow you to lane split. California does, but most states don't. And shifting constantly in stop and go traffic like a manual car gets old. It's not unfun, it's just not fun after a good amount of time. But right here was very easy. I didn't have to worry about extreme engine braking at low speed, because at low speed on most motorcycles that have good amount of torque on first gear, rolling off the throttle, you have a good amount of front end chop. The bike becomes very violent. I guess that's the best way to describe it. On this motorcycle right here, rolling off the throttle, even if I chopped it, it was very smooth because there was no gears for it to get hung up on. Every gear on a motorcycle, every gear in a car has so much speed per gear. We can all agree to that. So whether your first gear on your bike might go 60, mine's probably like 40, it doesn't matter. Every gear on a motorcycle car has their maximum speed they can go into. Having said that, there is no maximum speed on the gear for the bike, on the electric bike. It just has a maximum speed period that it can go to, and once it gets there, it's done. And that's what made this bike very smooth. The gas was very smooth, the power delivery was smooth, and the throttle was very linear. Very easy for a new rider to get into and to learn how to ride. Other than being high torque, having said that though, most high torque motorcycles, whether it being high torque triples or other high torque motorcycles, the Kawasaki H2, it doesn't matter. Most motorcycles that have high torque, you still have to be good with the throttle or you're going to be risk having injury. Same thing with this bike, is no different. So again, throttle control is paramount, but it's paramount on all motorcycles regardless of the engine size. You still have to have good throttle control. And electric bikes is no different. Right here you're going to see me go on to the on-ramp. I'm going to take it up at speed. And what made this really cool was, as other than it being smooth right here, no shifting of the bike, I don't have to worry about what gear to be on this corner. And I can tell you from doing a lot of corners, for a new rider's perspective, very awesome. Not intimidating, nothing to really think about other than just good throttle control and your line and where to brake. Right there, bike handled beautifully. Again, I'll be making a review and first thoughts on these motorcycles later, but the point I'm trying to make here is this: I didn't have to worry about being too low of a gear or too high of a gear. The bike did beautifully on the corner, and I think that's really going to help new riders or riders that have fear of shifting to come over and become motorcyclists. Another thing too that makes the electric bikes so appealing is it's not a scooter. Scooters are automatics, but they're not like this. They have a different type of automatic in them, and they're like a constant velocity drive or something, and it's like a CRV. It's different, or CRT, I don't know what the exact specification is, but it's different than this. This is no gears, smooth, power delivery, very fast, very awesome, and I believe that new riders are going to take to this like a duck to water, because it eliminates half of the controls of riding a motorcycle, and and half those controls can allow you to focus on the road and not worrying about what's going to happen to you as a rider. And having said that, it's going to make it safer. You don't have to worry about mechanical failures, you don't have to worry about shift errors, and you can put your more focus on the road ahead instead of worrying about what gear to be in and everything else. And some bikes don't even have gear indicators, so you have to keep track of it mentally, and that adds more complexity to riding. Alright, my name's Rhino Dan. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the opportunity from Contra Costa Powersports to ride these beautiful motorcycles. Hope you enjoyed the video, and this is the future. Thank you.